Each morning, as the sun rises, you awaken not merely from slumber, but to a sacred opportunity, the chance to impress upon your mind the images of greatness that will guide your steps. The thoughts you whisper to yourself in those first precious moments are not idle words. They are the blueprints of your destiny, the silent architects of your future. Say to yourself, I am the master of my thoughts, and my thoughts create my world. With this, you remind your spirit that no circumstance has power greater than your own determination. Declare, I am worthy of success, love, and abundance. And your worthiness will become a magnet to draw the very things you seek. Affirm each day, today I choose courage over fear, and watch as fear retreats before the flame of your resolve. Tell yourself, I am disciplined, focused, and persistent. And persistence will carve pathways through obstacles that once appeared immovable. Repeat, I am grateful for all that I have and all that is on its way, and gratitude will multiply your blessings beyond measure. Each morning is a chance to renew faith in your vision. Say, I see opportunity where others see obstacles, and opportunity will reveal itself like hidden gold in the rocks of difficulty. Declare, I attract harmony, health, and wealth into my life, and watch as life mirrors back the prosperity you command. Whisper with conviction, I forgive myself and others, for forgiveness sets me free, and you will walk unchained, lighter, and stronger. Tell yourself, I am unstoppable when I am aligned with my purpose, and purpose will drive you through the storms of doubt. Repeat, I deserve the success I am building, and your confidence will silence every critic, including the one within. Say, I will rise above every challenge today, and challenges will bow to the strength of your spirit. Affirm, I live in abundance, I think in abundance, I act in abundance, and abundance will flow to you in channels both expected and unexpected. Tell yourself, I am guided by wisdom, not by fear, and wisdom will illuminate your decisions. Conclude with, I am becoming more powerful, more confident, and more successful every single day, and you will step into your day clothed with an aura of triumph. When these declarations become your morning ritual, they cease to be mere words. They become forces, unseen yet unshakable, that move mountains, open doors, and carve the path of success before you. The world cannot resist a mind that commands itself with clarity, conviction, and faith. Each morning, tell yourself these truths, and you will not just live another day, you will conquer it. The mind is indeed a powerful workshop, and every morning it becomes the forge where the tools of destiny are shaped. In the first waking moments, the mind is most impressionable, unclouded by the noise of daily demands and receptive to the commands you give it. This is the sacred hour when your inner workshop begins its labor, and the raw materials it receives, your thoughts, beliefs, and affirmations, are the very substance from which the day ahead will be constructed. If you allow fear, doubt, or resentment to occupy this sacred space, then the workshop produces hesitation, confusion, and wasted opportunities. But if you feed it with courage, vision, and determination, then it crafts for you the blueprint of triumph and the energy to execute it. The mind does not judge whether you hand it tools of victory or instruments of defeat. It simply obeys the instructions it receives. That is why conscious direction of thought each morning is the true secret to mastery over circumstances. Consider the mind as a vast factory with countless unseen workers. These workers do not sleep. They respond immediately to the plans that are handed down to them. If you declare, I am strong, capable, and prepared for success, these unseen forces get to work assembling opportunities, ideas, and resources to match that belief. But if you mutter, even unconsciously, I am tired, unlucky, or overwhelmed, those same workers will bring forth experiences that validate that command. It is not superstition. It is the natural law of cause and effect within thought. Every seed planted in the workshop of the mind germinates, grows, and eventually bears fruit in action, in attitude, and in outcome. The greatest inventors, leaders, and builders of fortune have long understood that their first and most important task each day is to direct their mental workshop with precision. They knew that before they could bend the world to their vision, they had to bend their own thoughts into alignment with that vision. The mind is not passive clay. It is a living engine. It translates the unseen realm of ideas into tangible reality, shaping attitudes that influence decisions, decisions that guide actions, and actions that carve results. To neglect this workshop is to surrender to chance. To govern it wisely is to claim authority over destiny. When you rise in the morning, you stand at the threshold of choice. Will you hand your workshop plans of greatness or instructions of mediocrity? The way you speak to yourself is the design you place on the drawing board. If you say, "Today I build progress," then every word you speak, every gesture you make, every opportunity you recognize will begin to align with progress. If you say nothing, if you drift into the day without conscious command, then the workshop will still build, but it will build by default, often reinforcing the doubts, fears, and limitations you left unchallenged. This workshop has no limits except those you impose upon it. It does not shrink from grand designs. If you instruct it to construct wealth, health, influence, or peace, it accepts the order with the same impartiality as it would accept instructions to create failure, struggle, or stagnation. That is why mediocrity and greatness are often separated by nothing. Sight, more than the daily discipline of directing the workshop of thought. Every skyscraper was first a picture in the mind. Every achievement was first a conviction whispered in the silence of morning. The blueprint always precedes the building. Science and psychology alike affirm what wisdom has long taught, that the mind becomes what it repeatedly thinks upon. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition, beliefs harden into convictions, and convictions manifest as behavior. The workshop of the morning is not a metaphor alone. It is a biological reality. The thoughts you give yourself at dawn sculpt the very chemistry of your brain, influencing focus, energy, and emotion throughout the day. This is why an individual who begins the day with gratitude and determination carries an aura of resilience that others can see and feel. The mental workshop has produced not only an inner state, but an outward presence that commands respect and attracts opportunity. Those who master this practice understand that the workshop is always working, whether they command it or not. Therefore, they take nothing for granted. They rise, and with intention, they plant thoughts of faith, courage, and abundance. They know that these thoughts are not idle wishes, but directives, orders, given to the creative forces of the subconscious and the universe itself. And because the workshop accepts no argument, it gets to work at once, bringing into alignment circumstances, people, and events that harmonize with the morning's commands. Words spoken inwardly with conviction are far more than sounds in the silence of the mind. They are currents of energy that set in motion forces both within and beyond us. Every phrase you speak to yourself with belief becomes a command to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious is faithful. It accepts without question. It obeys without hesitation. And it shapes your actions and perceptions in harmony with those words. When you declare with firmness, "I am capable, I am strong, I will succeed," you do not merely describe yourself. You mold yourself. You call forth hidden reserves of strength. Focus your scattered energy and awaken courage that may have lain dormant. Words infused with conviction are like sparks that ignite the dormant fuel of potential, turning thought into momentum, momentum into action, and action into tangible achievement. It is not the casual repetition of words that transforms, but the depth of feeling with which they are spoken. A lukewarm affirmation spoken with doubt carries no power. It is like striking a match against wet stone. But when spoken with fire, with emotion and certainty, words carry the weight of destiny. They imprint themselves upon the subconscious in bold, unshakable strokes. Consider the difference between whispering half-heartedly, "I hope I can succeed," and declaring firmly, "I am destined to succeed." One plants a seed of hesitation, the other engraves a command. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between truth and falsehood. It distinguishes only between weak suggestion and strong conviction. That is why individuals who speak to themselves with unwavering assurance inevitably rise above those who speak with timidity, even when their external circumstances are. History shows countless examples of men and women who began with little more than a word spoken inwardly with certainty. They may have lacked resources, connections, or privilege, but they possessed the inner habit of speaking to themselves as victors rather than victims. Those words, repeated daily with conviction, rewrote their self-image, and as the self-image expanded, so did their capacity for achievement. Words shape identity, and identity governs destiny. To tell oneself, "I am a creator of opportunities," is to prime the mind to see chances where others see none. To affirm, "I am disciplined and persistent," is to train the mind to seek consistency even when enthusiasm wanes. Every word becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not by magic, but by the natural alignment of belief, thought, and action. Conviction in words also builds faith, and faith is the foundation of all enduring success. Faith is not blind hope. It is certainty in the unseen, confidence in what is not yet visible but already real in the imagination. Words spoken inwardly with conviction are the voice of faith. They remind the mind that obstacles are temporary, that strength is renewable, and that vision will triumph over adversity. When you affirm daily with conviction, "I am prepared to meet every challenge," your faith builds a shield against fear. Fear thrives in silence or in negative self-talk, but it crumbles when confronted by the loud, unwavering voice of conviction. The energy of words also extends beyond the individual. Conviction resonates. It creates an aura that others can sense. When you speak to yourself with strength, your posture changes, your tone shifts, and your presence commands respect. People are drawn to those who carry conviction, for conviction inspires trust. Leaders throughout time have influenced nations not because they possessed flawless plans at the start, but because they spoke with unshakable certainty, certainty that was first born in their own private dialogue. The words they told themselves in solitude became the speeches that moved crowds, the decisions that altered history, and the achievements that became monuments. Every morning provides a chance to exercise this law. If you begin by declaring inwardly with unwavering strength, "Today I will progress, today I will win," you harness energy that reverberates throughout your being. That energy influences how you think, how you walk, how you greet others, how you respond to setbacks, and how you seize opportunities. Even when setbacks arise, the inner dialogue of conviction allows you to say, "This challenge is temporary. I remain unstoppable." The words themselves are invisible, yet they shift the entire current of your day. There is an ancient truth that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And though many interpret this figuratively, the principle is literal in the realm of success. The tongue, whether spoken outwardly or inwardly, dictates the vitality of the spirit. Words are tools of creation or destruction, depending on how they are used. To speak with conviction is to breathe life into dreams. To speak with doubt is to suffocate them before they begin. Thus, each morning, the wise individual selects words not carelessly but deliberately, knowing that every affirmation is a seed planted, every declaration a hammer stroke in the building of destiny.